What's going on, everyone? Golden Ticket to History coming to you here from Lafayette Square in Washington, D.C., just north of the White House. And I'm here at 712 Jackson Place, and I'm here because this was a location of a murder scene that happened in 1859 between a member of Congress, Dan Sickles, and his wife's lover, Francis Barton Key, who was the son of the famous Francis Scott Key, Philip Barton Key, the son of famed songwriter Francis Scott Key, who notably wrote the Star-Spangled Banner as a poem while watching the bombardment at Fort McHenry, not too far away in the state of Maryland. So I ended up finding out that Stan Sickles, who was known for his own infidelities, found out that his wife was having extramarital affairs. Ended up finding out that it was Phillip Key who was the lover. One day, Dan Sickles confronted his wife, Teresa, and they had a disagreement. As he walked out of this door right here, he walked over here to Lafayette Park. Could be somewhere in this area right here, or it could be somewhere over there actually in the park. And he found Philip Barton Key sitting at a bench awaiting Teresa. She was disgruntled, and the disgruntled Dan Sickles verbally assaulted and physically assaulted Philip Barton Key, ultimately shooting him and ultimately leading to his death not long afterwards. Right here. You would think that this close, it's now a very government space. They have the Blair House over here, the house's dignitaries. It's housed the president. When there's been renovations happening at the White House, it has has housed many other major engagements. The visitor centers that where it's also where the Stephen Decatur House is, which I'm going to be talking about in a future video, maybe in a previous video, depending on what order I do them. The entrance to the White House is closed right now, right in front of it. So I'm assuming, I'm trying to see people are going in. I know that's press work stuff going in, going to be searched. I'm assuming that something must be happening involving the president. Maybe he's leaving and going somewheres. Maybe people are coming in. But clearly it seems that everything is blocked. And there's a hosted up here on the right side. So, I don't know, I may be out here for a little bit, so I may actually get a chance to see what happens. Yeah, but right in here, Dan Sickles. Very famous section. It's believed that the park over here is haunted by the spirit of Philip Barton Key. I don't know. Have you had any experiences here before in the federal city? This is the first stop we've had. It's the first stop I've had, actually. I'm running on about 3 hours of sleep. I fell asleep about almost midnight last night. Got up around about 2:50 in the morning, and caught a plane. Flew the plane up here. The plane was actually a little ahead of time. So I actually got into town about 20 minutes before I was originally scheduled to be here. So that was good. Which is a good thing because I have a lot planned today. It's about 9 a.m. here in Washington, D.C., and I have nothing else planned for today, so I'm going to spend all day going around the city, covering all the things I didn't cover before. Last time I checked, I think I'm looking at close to 70 or so topics that I want to cover while I'm here. And we're going to see how many we can accomplish while we're here. Hopefully all of them, maybe most of them. Hopefully not, none of them. That would be terrible. The fact that we're here right now in the Lafayette Park would help us kind of take away the chances of missing out on that one. I have noticed though, I'm gonna flip the camera, there's a lot more barricades out here. Like this whole park's kind of completely blocked off, like the fountain's blocked off. I'm not really sure why. Normally there's always a little barricades things there, and you have to foot traffic in front of the White House, but there's like more barricades, so I'm not sure if there's an event happening or what. Maybe the president's flying in, maybe the president's flying out, driving in, driving out. I don't know. The fact that you can't get in front of it kind of begs the question that maybe some very important people may be seen very soon. I don't know. In the words of Adam the Woo, I'm drinking a piping hot caffeinated beverage I picked up from the hotel. I was not able to check in, which was extremely unfortunate, but I was able to drop off my bag, and I was able to take, and hopefully I was hoping to get in my room, lighten the load of my backpack. There's a lot of things in my backpack I really don't want in there, especially if I'm going to be traveling around. I can't remember my plan was to go to Arlington today. I'm not sure if you even bring a backpack into Arlington, and I hope I can. I don't really want to go all the way back 30 minutes that way on the subway just to find out that I can't. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But we have a lot of videos happening very soon. Right here. I'm actually walking my way over here to the Stephen Decatur house, which I filmed briefly before. And just reading the sign. It's believed to be haunted by the spirit of the famed Stephen Decatur. As one of the stories goes, a little bit of a snippet for those who have stayed in the video long enough. It's said that his spirit shows itself in one of the windows, to the point that people became so disgruntled, so uncomfortable with it, that they actually bricked up the window so he couldn't do it anymore. Do you think that's the reason? Do you think it was bricked up because of taxes? I've heard in other places that places of countries and local authorities, local governments have tried to increase revenue by taxing the amount of windows that you have. So a lot of places will just board them up, or brick them up in this case. Then there's always the thing about the chimneys too. They wanted to tax everyone based on how many chimneys they had. So a lot of times what people would do is they would have one chimney running up with multiple fireplaces connecting to it, which is probably extremely unsafe. But you live and you learn. As always, continue for the history and film. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. We have so much more here in DC. Come on, along with me.